Caleb Hatch from 1380 The Fan in Fort Wayne joins me now. Caleb, how's it going, man?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Fort Wayne making a little bit of news lately. Not the good kind that they want. Not bad. It's just they were on the losing end of the Pacers moving the Mad Ants, their G League team, from Fort Wayne to Noblesville, which is that going to end up being the closest G League team to the parent team?
That's a good question. I know Cleveland used to have their G League team in Canton, then they actually moved them to Cleveland. So I don't know if you can top that one, but yeah, it'll be very
that's
close.
Pretty close. Yeah, there you go. But I guess I understand it from that reason. They can use them. I don't know what the NBA rules are as far as practice and all that stuff, but whether it's development, because the Pacers Center, maybe that was the thinking there. But Fort Wayne, long-time sports town, big-time sports town. Hell, they had the Pistons. They had an NBA championship play there, I think. So long-time sports town. You got baseball still there, but that has to hurt losing a basketball team. Whenever time you lose a basketball team.
Well, it's weird because Fort Wayne, yes, it essentially the birthplace of the NBA. Fred Zollner, the Fort Wayne Zollner Pistons, his house, his kitchen is essentially where the NBA was born as far as its current iteration. But basketball has come and gone. You had the Pistons leave after a handful of years declining attendance. Yeah, they made a couple of NBA finals early on. You had the Fort Wayne Fury, the CBA. And then you've had the Mad Ants. Now they're on the move. Mad Ants came in as then the D League back in, I believe, 2007 coming in, but the Pacers took over ownership after the 2015 season. And really since then, it's felt like there's been a shift in the community as far as the connection with the franchise to Fort Wayne. And they were always second fiddle in their own arena at the Coliseum, Allen County War Memorial Coliseum, where the Fort Wayne Comets are the big draw in town. They could, they average around 7,000 plus fans a game. So that was always the big challenge for them, is just dealing with the fact that they're not even kind of the prime team in their own arena.
Yeah. And so in the area around Indianapolis on the other end is growing unbelievably. You've got Carmel, which is due north. But the area north of frickin' Carmel is unbelievable. It's crazy.
Yeah, I actually grew up in Westfield. So when I was a kid, it was
and all this seems to be
tiny little
driven,
town.
By the way.
Yes. I mean, Westfield did Grand Park, and I thought that'd be a massive boondoggle, and it's been a pretty big success for the city, hosting Colts training camp now. They've hosted some Big Ten soccer events as well, and a lot of big tournaments for youth sports. And then obviously Noblesville now building this arena to have the Mad Ants and whatever their new name will be in a couple years. And then Fishers with their hockey arena to move the Indy Fuel. They're spending the money, right? And they spent it first on youth sports. Now they're spending it for these other franchises, and you hope it works, but that is a lot of taxpayer money going toward these projects.
Maybe they'll change their name to the Matter Ants. But looking forward to that. I know that you guys follow IU up there as well. You follow everything along the big reveal waiting tomorrow. Mackenzie Mbako is the latest dream for Indiana fans, as he will be making his decision tomorrow. 6'8" wing, a position and player that Indiana desperately needs. Everyone is making their predictions, and I'm like, I got none. I have no prediction because there's no, unless someone tells me something, I don't, there's no reason to believe anything. I don't think his decision is going to be about NIL between these two schools because Indiana has got enough money to keep up with whomever. Kansas has already added 7 guys, so all 7 of those guys are getting paid, and they don't have an endless checkbook. So I don't think that NIL is necessarily going to be the deciding factor here. I think the deciding factor is going to be the fact that he can go to Kansas and walk onto a team that is already a favorite to win the national championship before he even gets there. And he's a major piece. Or he can come to Indiana and potentially make them a national title contender with his addition. Big difference there. And the minutes has got to be different for him because of what Kansas already has.
Yeah, I think this whole thing is interesting to me because Kansas goes out. You mentioned they had 7 transfers. Hunter Dickinson, obviously the big gem of that class, but also they have KJ Adams, and that's right in Mackenzie Mbako's, position. So you wonder how that plays a role. And yes, with Kansas, you're going to compete for a Big 12 title and a national title year in, year out. That's what Bill Self does. He has that program rolling and has had them rolling for a long time now. But at IU, look, we've seen Mike Woodson get these 5-star guys the last few years. He got Tamar Bates late in the cycle. He got Malik Renew late in the cycle. Could he get Mackenzie Mbako late in the cycle? That seems to be another thing that could come down the pipeline. And you just wonder, when it comes down to relationship building with Mike Woodson, and he seemed to have a lot of success getting these top-level guys so far early in his tenure without really a whole lot to go off of, right? I mean, he hadn't recruited at the collegiate level. He's had a lot of success there. I think the other thing you look at with Mike Woodson is, the players seem to gravitate towards him. He knows how to push the right buttons as far as what guys need to work on and what they need to improve, but also do it in a way that keeps guys, around and locked in if they're the right fit. And you just wonder, is Mackenzie Mbako the right fit for IU? Because he'll be a star from day one. He'll be a starter from day one. And the track record of Woodson sending guys to the NBA now. I mean, getting 2 potential first-round picks, that's a pretty good thing to add to your resume as a coach just after 2 seasons.
Yeah, and something I mentioned earlier that I just happened to notice, today is May 11th, which it's May 11th, but it's also the last day you can enter the transfer portal. So tomorrow when he makes this announcement, it's too late for anybody else to get in. It's too late for anybody from Kansas to get in. Not that would happen. Why would you leave? The only reason you'd leave a team picked to win the national championship is if somebody just got recruited over. And that is a possibility. But that makes me wonder about the people on. There is a I cannot think of his daggone name. Kid on the Kansas roster. It's like AJ, something like that plays this position.
Yeah, KJ Adams. Yeah,
KJ Adams. Well, he's that guy. If Mbako ends up going to Kansas, he ends up being that guy, and he cannot enter the transfer portal because it's too late. He missed it by a day.
Yeah, that's another thing. And one other aspect of the portal, so the deadline coming up just before midnight tonight, but guys who are graduate transfers, there's no real deadline. So that's something else to watch. We'll see some names roll into the portal, today and tomorrow and even through the weekend, because the email deadline is just 11:59. It may not, come out as far as so-and-so saying they're in the portal, but then on the other side, graduate transfer is still a possibility. So that's another thing to watch this weekend. But IU has some open slots, right? And we'll see who they can fill those open slots with.